Mathematics, Ordinary Level, Paper 2, 2023, Part 3. Let's start with question number 7. An arithmetic progression, and then they give it, is given. Find the number of terms in this progression. Where will we find it? Okay, again, I'm going to show you. We will find it still in part 1, and that's sequences, and there's the general term, it's an AP, and it's the general term, and it's on page 212. You can look at example 41. That will help you in the y equals mx plus c mathematics textbook. Let's start with question A. Find the number of terms in this progression. Now, first, you can determine that they told you it's an AP, but to find that value of D, let's see, the value of A, that's going to be 10, the first one. The value of D is going to be T2 minus T1, the common difference. And that's going to be 12 minus 10, and that's going to be 2. Okay, and I'm looking for the value of N. But the general formula, and it's again formulas that you must memorize, it's going to be A plus bracket N minus 1 D, or I can put the D in front. Now, I have the last term, or I can even say here Tn equals 80. So I have 80, I have A, 10, I can put the D, the 2, and I can put the N minus 1. Okay, and now I can just multiply it out. So I get 80 equals 10 plus 2n minus 2. Okay, and I'm just taking it over. So it's going to be 80 minus 10 plus 2, and that's equal to 2n. And I don't mind if you do this, I don't think they will worry. Okay. So if I simplify that and I subtract, I get 72, and that's equal to 2n. And then I divide by 2, and I divide by 2, and I get that my value of n is equal to 36. So I'm going to say that find the number of terms, 36 terms. Okay. So that position will be the 36th position in the row. So, and then find the sum of these terms. Again, you have to know the formulas. So the formula Sn is equal to n over 2, 2a plus bracket n minus 1 d. So I'm going to put in the place of n. So what am I going to put? It's going to put 36 over 2. 2a, it's 10, plus 36 minus 1, and the value of d, what will that be? 2. So that is going to be 18, and that is going to be 20, plus, and if you subtract 35 times 2, it's 70. And if you simplify this, then you're going to get 1620. 1620. Let's go to the exam report and go and check if we are correct. So if I go to the exam report, this is question number 7. So another question where learners were expected to use a formula that they should have memorized and recalled, but many failed to do so. So please, teachers, make sure your students know their formulas. Even if they have to come one afternoon in and just repeat writing it out, or in a break, let them do that. At the end, you are helping them. Again, emphasis is put on teachers to make sure that learners learn and are able to use such basic formula. In both parts of this question, some candidates made use of these of the less efficient way of listing all the terms of the progression, or adding them up instead of using the formula. In part, some candidates did not understand that the dots mean that there are many more terms, so the dots means going on before 80. Instead, they added only that and wrote 36 in the space left in the progression. Such wrong work could not be awarded any marks. So 36, okay, that was the first one, and that was 3 marks. So they gave you, if you substitute there and you put the 80, I'll show you now. And for that one, they give for the final, or it's only 2 marks if you substitute in the formula. So let's just go back and see where we can allocate the marks. So just for the marks, I want to show you. So basically what they said in that question, they gave for the 36, and if you substitute it there correctly, then they would have gave you another mark there. And then, yes, it's almost for the 2 sides. If you substitute in this side and if you put the 80 there in the correct position. Okay, and then this one, it was just also for the substitution and then the final mark. Okay, let's go to question number 8. The diagram shows triangle PQR. PQ is 4 and PR is 9. You see it on the sketch, and angle QPR is 30. Calculate the area of the triangle. Okay, it's triangles. So what chapter will this be? This will be chapter 9. And it will be in part 2 of the textbook. Okay, not part 1. And this will be, the first one will be area of a triangle. Area of a triangle when the height is, or only the height, when the height is not given. Okay. And I told you what will be the page. You will find it on page 464. And you can check there example 24. Okay, so let's fill it in. So it's actually very easy, especially if you know the formula. So area of triangle PQR, and that's a half 4 times 9 sin of 30 degrees. Press it just on your calculator. Very nice. It's 0.5 or a half. Multiply 4, multiply 9, multiply sin and 30, and you get on the dot 9. Okay, centimeter squared. Make sure that your calculator is on D for degrees. Okay, and then the length of line QR, still with that. And where do we find this? I'll tell you where. The cosine rule. The cosine rule. And that's on page 472. That's example 32. Okay, and how do I do that one? I'm just going to say, if I'm looking at this one, it's going to be QR squared, because this one. So it's the cosine because they give you 2 sides and an included angle. And you don't have to write the QR. You can just say the 2 sides around it, you square it and you add it. And then the 2 that you square, you subtract 2. And then it's 4 times 9. And it's cos of 30 degrees. And that is going to be 16 plus 81 minus 72 cos 30. And don't forget that write down the full calculator display. So press 16 plus 81 minus, I like to put a bracket. Some calculators will do it automatically. But bracket 72 multiply cos 30, close the bracket, equals. And my calculator is saying 346461709.3. And then what I do is I take the square root to get rid of that square. And it's 5,8860998 0.06. And then if I go 1, 2, 3, then it's 5,89. And that's how I do it. Okay, let's go to the exam report. So if I look at the exam report there, and that's question number 8. So the whole question was poorly answered by candidates, and really trigonometry is like a recipe. Just work through it and practice it. Again, it was very unpleasing to see that candidates did not know the formula. Some that recalled the formula ended substituting wrongly. A big percentage of candidates did not realize that this was a non-90-degree triangle and thus failed to use the appropriate formula for calculating the area of a triangle. Usage of cosine instead of sine was used in their formula for calculating. So area takes the sin, although the information is like the cosine. So there it's the 9, and for substituting 1 point. And then number B, candidates simply could not recall and properly use the cosine rule that was required for the part of this question. Again, candidates should be taught on how to properly use brackets when substituting values into expressions or equations. Many candidates wrongly had equations like this. Okay, so again, it's counting 3 marks, and they would have gave you 2 if you bring the root in. Let me just go and show you. So if you look at the question paper there, and you say, so for example, if you there, and then you basically for substitution and the answer, and again there, but if you bring the root, you follow, take the square root, then they will give you for that answer. Let's go to the next question. This is also nice, and it's almost like towards the end of the question papers, I see we move to book 2. Okay. So it's actually for me good that they start first with part 1, the basics, grade 10 work, because especially you are so nervous and you make unnecessary mistakes. So it's always good in a question paper that they first put the easier questions. And I think this question, I'm very impressed by the tone of this question paper. Okay, it's the same with the part 1. Okay, let's look at this question, and this is question number 9. And where will I find this? This will be in part 2. And it's transformations. And as I said, transformations, it's there with vectors, matrices, transformations. And you can look there on page 597 in part 2. Okay, 3 flags A, B, and C are drawn on the grid. Okay, describe fully. I think we must just get this first away. Just want to see, we can move it. Okay, so describe fully the single transformation that maps flag A onto B. Now, it's almost like if you have a spare little paper, otherwise you can take it from that extra page. So then it's if you copy it and you copy the arrow facing north. Okay, and you start rotating it. See how many degrees, but you will see it's rotated exactly 180 degrees. And if you write it, it's very important to write everything. So, and also, if the rotation, if the 2 figures connect, then that point where they connect, that is the center of rotation. So you will get, you will say rotation, and then you will say the degrees, 180. You don't have to say clock or anti-clockwise because it's the same. And then you will say center, and now just go, and it's -5, and go there, and it's 5. And make sure you write that coordinate correctly. And for what? And they will give for rotation, for the degrees, and the correct center they give. Okay. Then flag A onto flag C. So A to C. Now it will be good if you take a ruler here, because that helps you. Now let me see if I can get my ruler here to help me. Now sometimes I'm struggling a little bit with my digital instruments, but let's try. because that will help you just determining that center. Okay, so the first thing is you must connect the same points. So let's take that red one and we will connect it to this red one here. So we will draw a line there. And then if we say the end of the flag and the end of the flag, and we can also maybe that sharp point there. Okay, so we connect that points. So if I take now my ruler, okay, there's my ruler. And I put it now, say I do it on the yellow first. So I must just move it to the yellow. And again, I hope my digital things will not drop me too much. Okay. I put it there. Okay. And I take my pencil and and I'm going to connect it. Ooh. Okay. Now, why are you not working nicely? Okay. So if I connect it like that. And then I'm going to continue, put it on my red, and again I take my pencil and I connect it. Okay, and then the last one, I take the green and I'm taking the green now. Okay, just make sure that you connect the correct points. And I know there was a little bit of a gap they gave here. And we will check it now if we come to the report. That it didn't connect, no, that was not a nice one. That it did not connect 100% on the place where I think they wanted it to connect. Okay. Okay, it doesn't matter. If I look here, I can see, and I think this is why, there where they intersect, that is the point of enlargement. Now, if you look at the flags, you will see that it's turned upside down, then it's indicating a negative enlargement. And if you look at the scale factor, say for example, this is 4, divide 2, then it's 2. So this is actually a difficult enlargement. So let's just see. So this is an enlargement. And the scale factor is -2 because it turned upside down and it's 2 times as big. And then the center. Now, I think they wanted the center on that -1 and 1. And you see -1 and 1, but it didn't work on the printing so precise. So I think the correct one was, it was -0.7 and they allow a plus minus 0.2. Okay, and then the next one, because it's not there. Now, if I must really look at my sketch, let's go here. I think this one was all right. It was 1. The problem was with this one. So, and it was definitely 1. So that one was correct. But the problem was on this one. So mine is also looking like, I must say negative, that line is not, negative 0.6, 0.7. So it seems to me they were saying, negative, let me just put it correctly. I want to show you, negative 0.7. So if it's plus minus 2, it means that they would have allowed for negative 0.5 and they would have allowed for negative, if you add, so negative 0.9. So between that range, it looks to me they allowed it. Okay, but it was not 1. I think initially they tend for that But as I said, mine is maybe negative 0.7 or maybe negative 0.6. So say negative 0.6 will also be correct. Negative 0.8 will also be correct. One of that values. But the other one was 100%. That was 1. So that was the range which they wanted you to have it in. Okay. And draw the image of flag A after a translation by the vector 8 and 1. So let's just go back. A by 8 and 1. So I just want to get rid of my ruler. So if I translate it with 8 and 1, and I'm just going to now, yes, doesn't matter. You can leave it there. So you take every corner. So it's going to be 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1. And you do this, make a dot. And then this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1. And then say, for example, this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1. And then the final one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1. And if you take your ruler, and you do this, and then you name it. What did you name it? D. Don't forget to name it D. Okay, so label it D, otherwise you will be penalized. So I just want to show you for this enlargement, you will get scalement and then with that. Okay, and then draw the image of flag after a reflection in the line y is equal to negative 1. So where is the line y equals negative 1? Don't forget, it only cut the y-axis, and where does it cut? At negative 1. Okay, and it is number A. So basically, I'm just going to do again, counting to the line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, counting to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now I'm just taking my ruler and I'm just connecting this. Okay, let's just get that correct. Okay. 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 I don't want to do it so on, but it's again my technology dropping me a little bit. But I think it's better like this. And it's better like this. And don't forget to label it. So what do I label it? They say E. So don't forget to label it E. Okay. And let's go to the exam report. And it's just 1 mark. So if it's in the correct position, they will just go and 1 mark and 1 mark. Okay, so let's go to the exam report. So if I look here, question number 9, I can maybe just read for you. Candidates answer this question satisfactorily well. The concerns about are that candidates still continue to wrongly write the names of the transformations. Similarly, candidates should not be written as column vectors. Common wrong answers seen were rotational or enlarged, made big flipped SS center. Candidate seems to be unfamiliar with coordinates that are not integers. Many candidates change their answer to this. Yes, so don't make it. I scratch it also. So it's almost like, no, just do what you do and give the, it comes sometimes with the printing getting mixed up. And C, many candidates knew what to do. However, many draw the translation or the reflection without the tail or pole of the flag. That was not awarded any marks. Candidates should be taught on how to transform whole figures and not just part of the figures. An emphasis on teaching to use different shapes in class activities when teaching transformations. So a flag, a rectangle, a little bit different, so that they're not getting used to only one shape. And then, can I just show you the sketches? So if you look here, you will see the enlargement, the scale factor. Do you see the center there? This first one. There was the first one. So did you see? So that's why I said if you was negative 0.5, then it's plus minus 2. You could have add or subtract out. Okay. And then there is the one they draw. And there's the other one they also draw. And you can just check. There's the coordinate points to just make double sure you draw it correctly. Okay, let's go to the next question. Okay, so if I look at this next question, the diagram shows a circle and inscribed square. The radius of the circle is 7 centimeters. Find the area of the square. Okay, so let's just see first in my textbooks, y equals mx plus c. Where will we find that? We will find that in part 2 and chapter 10. And it's mensuration. And it's a page 500 will help you. And it's the different shapes. Just want to close this. And it's page 501. Okay. The area of the square. Now again, so if I look at this, now the first thing, it's not so easy because I must find a side. So I know a square, so I know that this will also be 7. So I must first find a side, but what do I have here? I know that the angles, and that's why you must know the properties, they intersect there in the middle with 90 degrees. So I can use Pythagoras theorem. So I can say that x squared is equal to 7 squared plus 7 squared, Pythagoras theorem. So x squared equals 49 plus 49. It's a bit long. I could have made it a bit smaller there. 98, and then I take the square root of 98. Okay, and then, okay, leave it like this. Don't approximate it first. Because as soon as you, otherwise write the whole calculator's display. So I just know it's the square root of 98. And the area of a square is side times side. So it's going to be 98 times, because as soon as you multiply a square root with a square root, it's actually just falling away, and it's 98. So if you approximated, you would have lost marks, according to me. But I think let's go to the report quickly before and see if they were subtracting marks if you... Okay, this question also seemed to have difficult for many. I think it's because you didn't know you had to use Pythagoras. Many candidates only scored 1 on this part question. Many candidates failed to realize that 7 was the radius of the circle. Such candidates thus extended the 7 centimeter line to the other corner of the square and made that to be the side of the square. Commonly, a wrong answer was this for the area of the square. In a nutshell, candidates simply struggled to obtain the correct dimensions of the square. Many that correctly used Pythagoras' theorem mostly ended up losing the accuracy mark due to premature rounding. So if you are working out that square root of 98, you must write the full calculator display. Candidates should be encouraged to use their full calculator display when calculating and only round off the final answer. Okay, so just take note. Where did if you come to that step, you could have get 2, but if you were just doing that, if you get that, at least you got 1 mark. Okay, let's just go back to the question paper. Okay, so they basically said if you basically came to this answer at least, finding the square root there, this one, you would have got that mark. And then the other one, if you start multiplying in, and then the final one. Okay. Now the area of the shaded part. Now the first thing, what we're going to do, and I'm going to say, and you can look there on the same chapter on page 504. That will help you in the part 2 textbook, y equals mx plus c. But let's first see the sketch. Now the area, now luckily that was easy because you have the radius. So the area of the circle equals pi r square equals 3,142 multiply 7 square. And again, don't approximate. Okay. And then the area of the shaded. So the thing is, if you take, can I just show you? If you take the whole circle and you subtract this square, but you will then end up with 4 parts. So if you take, do you see? If you take the circle and you subtract the square, but that's still what we're going to do. So the area of the shaded, but we just want 1. So the area of the shaded, and now take that 153.958, subtract the 98, but then you get all 4 parts. Don't forget that. You get all 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now you just want 1 part. So now just go and divide it by 4, but because you just want 1 part. And that is going to be 13.9895. Okay, I just want to check if it's an exact answer because, yeah, it depends. It depends if you use pi there in the calculator. Yes. So I think the best is here. We can approximate it. So just this 8 makes this a 10. So, but then it must be 14.0. So I think due to the pi, it's exact now because we used 3,142. Okay, but before I come back to the marks, basically what I think they will give you if you come to the area of a circle at least, and then if you divide it by 4 and then the final. But let's just go and see what the report is saying. Okay, so also poorly answered by candidates. Although many could correctly calculate the area of the circle, they failed to subtract the area of the square from that of the circle and then divided their answer by 4 to obtain the area of the shaded part, or one shaded part. It was also surprising to see candidates with a negative value for area. It is encouraged that teachers emphasize on answer that's making sense throughout teaching and learning process. It means if you get a negative area cannot be, so then you must know you made a mistake. Okay, so it was 14 or 14.0 and it was due to the approximation. So for the circle you would have get 1 mark, then subtracting, dividing by 4, the other mark, and then for the final answer. All these videos refer to the y equals mx plus c textbooks, the number 1 mathematics textbook used in Namibian schools. For more information on these textbooks, visit the Straight Line Publishing website. All y equals mx plus c to success textbooks are available in the NEED catalogue of the Ministry of Education. Schools can order these using their yearly budget for textbooks, with the process typically starting mid-year. Make sure your learners have a copy of the y equals mx plus c mathematics textbook used by the top schools in Namibia in front of them in 2025. A final point. If you are in the position I want to encourage you to buy your own personal copy of the y equals mx plus c mathematics textbook. These textbooks are available at the following bookshops. Remember, success in mathematics comes from hard work, perseverance, and the courage to face challenges head on. Good luck with your final 2024 examination.